We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the Voices of Contact.
We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for the truth, because truth brings powerful transformation, and we are the voices of change. We are all about evolution at an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show with our panel. I just want to say thank you to all of you for the work you're doing. It's impactful. It's life-changing. And I thank you for being here with me. And it means more than you realize, as well as to the listeners. So, allow me to introduce some of my favorite people. First, we have Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. They're also the founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. They're also owners and managers of the Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakenings Vodcast, and the YouTube channel, and a Mystical Awakenings metaphysical store in Houghton Lake. Next, we have Deb Cobble. She was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods, which was made into a CBS miniseries in 1992. She is co-author of the book Abducted, The Story of Intruders Continues, and author of Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. She's a former Indiana MUFON investigator and co-founder of her own paranormal group, Paranormal Underground, and hosts the Midwest Paratalk podcast with co-founder Greg Cable. And then we have Dana Stricker. She is a born psychic medium, and she has been reading professionally since the age of 15. While she excels in her psychic and mediumship ability, Dana is also known for her exceptional skills in remote readings. She's also known and very well-established medical intuitive. In addition to reading professionally worldwide, Dana has worked nationwide on numerous missing person cases. With the amazing panel that we have tonight, I know that anything is possible, and we're going to get deep down in discovery and answers to what's really going on out there. This show is all about transmutating the light from the dark and to replace fear with knowledge. Through my regression work, I have come across amazing cases with some amazing clients. And it's my passion to work with them and to help them have a better understanding of the contact they've had, whether they were taken, have had contact in the physical realm, or through a dream state. I'm grateful that my clients have agreed to allow me to use the regressions on the Voices of Contact. This is the place to be, because the panel breaks down the experiences, providing powerful feedback. I love it because all of the listeners get to connect and learn, and the person I regressed walks away even more immersed in their experience with a new perspective on their contact. So literally, it's a win-win, right? This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. How are you guys tonight?
Hey, good. Hey, Mary.
Hanging in there. Hey.
Good
to see all your faces.
I miss everybody.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this all day.
Me too. Just connect with our voices and our people, and yes, it's gonna be great.
So tonight's regression is with a woman who wanted to explore a couple of things. The biggest one is her remembering her she's a lifelong experiencer and having contact since the age of 7. So the biggest thing that she wanted to take a look at in this regression was at the age of 7, she was taking a bath and discovered a perfectly round scar on the back of her calf. So she wanted to explore where that came from. And then she also wanted to explore an experience she had in a dream when she had contact with ET in the gray void.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting term. I've never heard that term before, except for like my last 2 regressions. So I found that interesting.
Yeah.
They always correlate in some shape or form.
So the gray void, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I've heard anything like that.
And so my take on it, it's like, it almost feels like the astral plane for me type thing. But from doing a little research, they say that this is where ET makes contact consciously. So that kind of made sense to me.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the first clip, we just move into the experience of how she got the scar. To where you got that scar on the back of your leg. And you're there now, and you can become aware of how you got that scar. I'd like you to take a look around for me and tell me what's happening.
A table.
What kind of table?
Kind of like a hospital, like medical table.
What are you doing on the table?
Laying there.
And what's going on around you?
I got this weird looking things.
And I want you to know you're perfectly safe. You're not going to experience this again. The only thing I need you to do is observe so that you can tell me what's happening. Describe what they look like for me.
Mary,
I gotta keep it suspenseful.
I was all excited for her to describe what they look like.
Yeah, me too.
Ooh. Okay.
So definitely like a hospital.
Yeah.
It felt more like a hospital room to me,
Mm-hmm.
type
Yeah.
thing.
You know, there was always a long debate going on whether us humans, whoever the military or whoever was in on some of these abductions, they called them back then. And there was an agreement made, a contract, they could do that. So it makes me wonder, would extraterrestrials that are very advanced, I'm not sure why they would use a metal bed. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't they make it comfortable for people? Unless they were really just mean people. But when I hear this, lately I've been thinking about this, metal bed thing. But it wasn't like 10, 15 years ago. There was a lot of debate about whether our government was in with the extraterrestrials doing these hybrid. What are you
I think
laughing
there's
at,
still
Mary?
some debate. Yeah, there's still some. There's
Oh, yeah.
still that line of thinking out there.
Right. So it makes me wonder. Hopefully we'll find out, right?
Yeah, well, keep that in mind for the future clips. I can't really say if it's military,
Right.
but in the last couple of clips, more stuff like that does come out.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think many of us who have had experiences like that have been taken, have experienced that same metal, cold, hard surface that we're on. My thinking is that They just don't have the type of compassion to say, oh, we need a nice hotel bed that's nice and fluffy and some warm blankets and pillows. I just don't think they think that.
I don't think they have the understanding of that. I don't. It may not be something that they themselves use,
Mhm.
and
Right.
therefore wouldn't even conceive that it would be something that we would need.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, I'm sure they have researchers, there somewhere who have researched humanity and understand the human being and everything like
Right.
that. But I don't think it's probably all of them.
Right.
Probably it's like we have some string theory, scientists here, but
Mhm.
not everybody gets the string theory. So,
Yeah.
because I myself have encountered, the sensation or thinking that I'm laying on a hard metal surface or a hard cold surface,
Right.
So that's, I think, real common in
Mhm.
these kind of reports. So, like I
Right.
said, maybe gotta think they just don't get it,
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'd read or I'd come across information that, I've come across so much information. I don't know when I did it, who had said it. I got all this stuff in my head, but um, that when Eisenhower was approached by a group that we wanted to start doing a hybrid system, for exchange of technology, that they agreed to let our doctors on board, a few doctors on board with them as they did it to oversee things, But we're talking the 50s and 60s, so um, do I think that happens anymore? No. But,
I've met a couple of human beings in some weird experiences I had, or I assume they are human beings. I mean, they might not be. That might
right.
be a total like cover image,
Yeah.
But so not a lot. They think they call those my labs, military
Oh yeah.
something or other, where they're involved somehow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I may have had one experience, maybe like or a couple that were connected in that area.
What about underground? You think you're underground ever?
Actually, I thought I was underground during my my lab thing when I was blindfolded and
Yeah.
driven somewhere. When I was taken out and put, it felt like I was going down and down and down and down in an elevator. You know how when you're in an elevator, how your whole body
Oh yeah.
sensation shifts and go.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I was going down and down and down and down for a while and being held up by people, not
Right.
not the gray things.
Right.
So
Right.
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, they very well could have been down there. We were going to Grays and extra.
Oh yeah, probably. It was definitely a hospital-like setting
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
some kind of facility or lab.
Yeah. Yeah. I've read a lot about those, Deb, and had people talk. I heard people talk about them too, especially the underground ones. It's a long way down there.
Yeah. Well, let's see if this lady has. This lady went.
Right. Yeah. I want
These
to
are
hear
taking
more
it up
now.
there. Mountain
Yeah,
Road.
I want to hear what they look like.
So this next one, she describes a machine that's in the room and who's running it. And just pay attention because for the clip, I put in the picture of the scar on her leg.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Describe what they look like for me. Now there's these arms that are coming to me. These instrumental things. So like a tool or a machine type thing? Yeah. Who's running the machine? A guy. It's, gray guy. So a gray. It's nice turning me over. Oh. Oh. What happens after he turns you over? Okay. So opening this spot on my leg, spot. What does he do after he opens the spot? So put the thing in there. What does he put in there? It's some kind of round thing, tiny thing. What I'd like you to do is ask him what he's doing. I don't know. I don't want to do that.
That's a big old scar. My scoop mark was about 1/8 of that size. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
Yeah.
I think we have a new name for the Greys. Gigi's. Grey guys. Just say Grey
Yeah.
guys. Gigi's. Call them Gigi's.
When she's talked about that metal instrument, it immediately popped in my mind. There's a surgical assist instrument now called the Da Vinci, and I've had it actually a couple surgeries on myself with it. The surgeon actually stands over in a corner of the room somewhere, and these metal arms come down and it's like a video game to the doctor almost. They're remotely manipulated. It made me think of that when she said the arms coming down and the machines or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when she said arms, I got chills because I'm flashing back to one of my experiences when I see the arms coming at me, and it was, so yeah.
Did she say it was putting it in or taking it out? Was the mark already there?
Putting it in.
Put it
Yeah,
in.
because we were exploring how she got the mark.
Okay. So wow, that's a big old thing. They had to make that big mark.
No, I think the perfect the perfect round circle is just above that bigger one.
Right.
So, we can play it again sometime, where I can send you guys the pictures. But if you're able to zoom in, you can see the perfectly round circle that's smaller than that other mark.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's pointing to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other thing was maybe a bruise or something. Was that part of it?
No,
No, that wasn't part of it.
Okay.
it didn't look to be part of it. It was completely separate.
Right.
Oh, because I was thinking the whole thing was the
Yeah,
scar.
and I think that's why she was pointing at it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
because I was like you. At first I thought it was part of it too, but
I'm like, dang, did they put a baseball in her? That's big.
Right.
Keep in mind, this was when she was 7 years old.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
true.
Yeah, and she still has, and a lot of times a scar will shrink.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's probably smaller now than it was, but who knows? And it's interesting how, people get different shapes. Like some get a triangle, some get a square, some get a circle. You wonder if it's different beings using different devices or the same beings using different devices for different things.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't hear her say, I may have missed it, what the device was used for.
That'll start coming into the next clip.
Okay. All right.
So with this next one, we start to ask the being what the machine is for and what he's doing with it.
Hurts. And I just want you to know you're not going to feel it. The pain is instantly going away. It's gone. You can ask him what he's doing if you'd like and get your answers. Okay. What is he doing? Just putting the implant in. He's putting the implant in. Ask him why he's putting an implant in. We have to locate you. Why do they have to locate you? Hurting me. We're going to tell him he's not allowed to hurt you anymore, and he's going to stop. Well, why do they need to be able to find you? To take me back again. To take you again? Yeah. Why do they want to take you? Because they want to study me. They want to what? Study me. Why do they want to study you? What's the purpose of them studying you? I want to be turned over again. I want to be turned back over.
Ooh, boy, that tugs at the heart. She definitely went back to that 7-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they probably weren't going to tell a 7-year-old girl why they were doing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, if they might have, but she wouldn't. She wouldn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and I get the feeling, and I'm not sure why, that she's a hybrid, and that has a lot to do with what they're studying. You know what I mean? I just my heart is breaking right now. I feel so bad for her.
Do you know if other family members were involved?
When I asked the subconscious, the answer was one of the brothers have had experiences, but they're not aware of them.
Right. Well,
And what I found interesting is this was the first time she's ever been regressed. Or at least with me, I think she did one several years back, but it wasn't like a full-on regression. And she was sure that she made it up. A lot of them will say that. But when she listens back, you can't make that up.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That was a real experience.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be pretty emotional for you too, right?
It was. At that point, I just moved her on from that. It was too much for her. She got what she came for, I guess, so to speak. She wanted to know how she got the scar.
Right.
And she's ready to regress again. We can go into it more, but she got the answer she was seeking. I didn't want to put her through that anymore. So
Right. Yeah, that seems so traumatic for her. And it would for, anybody. I don't know how old she is now, but obviously from the photos, an adult, but listening to her, she's definitely a little girl and has had this suppressed memory for all of these years. And that can really mess with you because when it does come up, something got her to the point that she wanted to know.
mm-hmm.
So, I have to wonder, what has she gone through, and have there been experiences? I'm assuming yes, from 7 until now. If they implanted her with something, any kind of a device to track her, or for whatever reason, that wasn't her only experience.
Mary, would you know what time period we're talking? 7, when she was 7?
I would say maybe 60s, 70s.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I heard the things had changed. They got the word that they got to start putting the kibosh on this, or they got to do there's something different. Just can't. I think someone stepped in and said, "Hey, listen, we got to have some control here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as time goes on, it does seem like, now when people are taken very young, at least they try to comfort them and some of them do, try to ease that fear. It doesn't sound like there was a whole lot of that. She was aware that she had been turned over. She was aware that she wanted to be turned back over. She was feeling the pain. And one thing I can tell you about my own experience is, I was aware that there was some pain, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is so painful. Do you know what I mean? Like, I knew there was pain, but I didn't associate with that pain. I know what I mean.
You guys seen this video? I mean, it's not real, I don't think, but this young man and woman are sitting at the table with this extraterrestrial, and they put this ring around their arm device, and it just takes the arm right off. No blood, no nothing. Then the implant comes right out, and then it comes back together, and then whatever's wrapped around just makes everything connected again. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like they're both watching, like, oh my God,
Sounds a little gruesome to me.
Well, no, I mean, they put it around the arm and it takes it right off without any pain or no disturbance at all. And like that together. So, who knows? Maybe they got technology like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you know, Mary, is she semi-aware that she has had more experiences?
Oh yeah, yep. She talked about several different experiences.
Okay. That's
More pleasant than that one? Not really.
To me, I think they're big experiences for her. She didn't talk whole lot about them.
Right.
She wanted to, really focus on where she got the scar, like where it all began for her, I think, and then focus on the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So does she ever, and I guess I could just wait, but I'm curious, find out what this device is for? She's saying tracking, but that doesn't feel.
Yeah, we start to tap into it in this next clip. For this next one, I moved her away from that scene, and I moved her over to the dream that she had recently, where she was taken to the gray void. And in the first recollection of the dream, it's this big white hall, like cafeteria type style, with tables just lined up. And there's a gentleman that's sitting at the table that she feels like she knows him, but she doesn't recognize who he is. So with this next one, we ask who he is and how she knows him. And then it kind of just progresses from there. And this is connected to the implant.
Oh,
So what happens next?
He's closing it up for something. It hurts.
Okay. So we're going to float away from that scene, and we're going to move to the time that you found yourself in the gray void. Okay. And we're in the cafeteria, and a guy comes in and sits, and you talk to him, and you're there now. And I'd like you to ask this guy, how do you know him?
Okay. He's my male counterpart.
What does he mean by that?
He used his sperm.
And what do they do with the sperm?
Mix it with my eggs, I guess.
No, what are they doing when they do that?
They're creating hybrid beings.
humble brag, right?
I'm curious why they allowed her to meet him.
My take on it, and this is probably something that will come out for her with later regressions.
Mhm.
And we'll talk about it like at the next clip, why I think that way. But I think she comes to this craft often, and they utilize her DNA to make fetuses. And they've probably been doing it for a really long time, because it just reminds me of other regression work I've done. It sounds so similar to it.
Right.
DNA and maybe possible eggs. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe they don't
Yeah.
even need eggs anymore. They just need the DNA and they make their
That's
own.
true. Yeah, but she said he was donating, they're using his sperm, so I thought
Yeah.
maybe. Well, who knows? I mean, they may start out that way. They may add stuff to it.
Yeah. Well, I have felt
Twinking
for
here, twinking there.
several years that they're like in the process of not truly creating a whole new being, but combining the beings so that we are, as we evolve, we're more one than separate.
Well, it's a good example. Is look at the the beings that have been on this planet. We had Neanderthal, and all of a sudden they're gone. They're just gone.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a couple of them living down the street from me. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, somebody still has traces in their DNA like you do. And
I do. I got a whole bunch.
I do too.
But how does a whole like a different type of a being just disappear that without, in my mind, genetic tampering from out here? So,
Right.
Yeah.
That's my thing, and maybe they're doing it again. They're evolving us to a different type of being.
Mm-hmm.
God, I hope so.
But then I wonder, are these beings that they're creating with her eggs and his sperm, are they going to be
Fully human?
beings,
Yeah.
or someplace else, and because they're not quite human enough yet?
Well, a lot of it has to do with environment too. So, what you can survive in, and where you can survive. And I mean, as far as physical goes,
Mhm.
but the spiritual part, the soul, that's a whole different ballgame. But
Right. Right.
Maybe they're just tweaking things.
Mhm.
well, maybe they're making us more space travel. You know,
Or bodies withstand a higher level of vibration,
right,
Mhm.
you know.
that type
Yeah.
of thing. You
I think
Yeah.
that's what's wrong with me. I'm shaking mine apart as I go along.
know.
I think that's what's wrong.
Yeah, that might be all of us doing that, right?
Kind of like a rocket ship that's hitting, Mach
Mhm.
1, and you're
Yeah.
starting to go like this.
Well, different stage,
Mhm. Yeah.
dropping the stage and another one.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So,
I like that.
are you staying in contact? I'm assuming you're staying in contact with her.
Yep.
I'm a
Yeah,
little
because she wants to
concerned.
continue to do the regression work. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, if this is all new information for her, I mean, you said she's suspected things were going on,
yeah.
but when you get this in depth, that's she's going to need some real support, and I hope that her family is supporting her as well.
As far as I know, she's never shared any of this with her family.
Mhm.
And she has had experiences as an adult, that were unusual. And
Yep. I
Yeah.
do know through tapping into the subconscious, they no longer take her.
Oh,
And you know what? That's really a thing right now too. I mean, that's including myself. That's a lot of happening. It almost makes you wonder if something they've reached. They've gotten what they want from this stage one of whatever this started back in the 50s or whatever, and now they've reached a different stage in their whatever it is their project is.
hmm
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we think about it, the younger generations, are all so different.
They might be tweaked already
Exactly.
from us.
They might be that new being.
And so it's handed down generation to generation,
Yeah. I mean,
linked
like
in the family.
after our generation, you started getting a whole different set of, like the star children and the indigos, and then autism, and
The black eyed.
it's all kind of So I have to wonder, where are we in this process? It'd be nice if we could know.
Yeah.
Are we at a point where our beings on this planet, our younger beings, are more
Well, maybe
them than us, or
it's part of our evolution that eventually we have to leave here, and we're getting us ready for that. And who knows where we're gonna go? It may be an atmosphere where we have to have different types of bodies, different people, different type of whatever. So, because I just think that's part of the evolution. I don't think everybody stays on their same planet forever. I think they move on to new planets and different planets, and because there's a whole universe out there to explore. So,
yeah,
but you just can't go there if you're not physically capable to withstand some of these different types of scenarios.
right. And they can't be here and survive until they can adapt as well.
Right.
So, the mix of the
They got to be part of us. We got to be part of them.
hmm Yeah. So now we need to find out, where are we in this? Where are we, darn it? Because you're right. I mean, people are not taken. I mean, they are. It's still happening, but not like it used to. And a lot of people our age and even younger grew up with this phenomenon. And over time, they just stopped being taken.
Well, they kind of make spiritual contact through dreams, and just, hey, how you doing? And check in. Remember me?
hmm Right. And there's a whole wave of, it's a consciousness thing instead of a physical.
Right.
So, and that's probably what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
this last one, they start to talk about the purpose of creating the hybrid beings.
There we go.
What's the purpose of him creating the hybrid beings?
He says he doesn't know.
Okay. And so what happens next?
I don't know.
Okay. So on the count of 3, we're going to move to the room of fetuses, and I want you to describe what you see for me. 1, 2, 3. And you're there now. Take a look around and tell me what you see.
Yeah, there's tall, like these really tall tubes that are round, cylindrical, and they have, and the fetuses are being suspended in this blue, like liquid, jelly type gel type stuff. It looks like, or heavy liquid or something like that. And they're just kind of suspended there.
Can you describe what the fetuses look like for me?
They look kind of humanish, you know. They look like their faces are a little different. They're smaller.
The faces are smaller?
I mean, the fetuses are smaller.
Oh, okay.
They're not that old, you know. But
Are their eyes open or shut?
it's like they have a covering over their eyes or something. So I'm not sure if they're open or not. I can't see their pupils or anything.
Are you alone in the room?
Yeah.
What else do you notice?
There's this, keeps on going, these tubes all the way down the hallway. You know?
So there's like a lot of them?
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
And so what happens next?
They're just showing, well, I thought I was alone. There's a guy behind me showing me this. There's a captain guy.
Can you describe what he looks like to me?
He's a human.
Mm-hmm.
He's a human.
Was he like her, or was he on the other side playing for the other team?
Playing for the other team.
Okay.
So is he military?
Mm-hmm. Or, you know,
Was that the
special
last
ops.
clip?
That's the last clip.
Oh,
I think some of
weird.
these guys are above military level.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's gonna have to watch next week's episode to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're like you said, they got their own special ops.
Yeah, these are above military.
Yeah. But you know, you were when they were describing the blue jelly, you and he, but think about what we float in as we're developing
Our
room,
embryonic
you know?
fluid, yeah.
Yeah, so they just
Right.
it probably they're taking the step out of somebody birthing it and put it in a different thing. So
Right. Well, and also when they transport, or for whatever
Yeah.
reason, they use that, and they used that on me, and that was something that, I saw and felt, and it was weird because I could breathe, but my brain was telling me you can't breathe through this. It put me in mind of like a hair gel. You know what I mean? Kind of ooey and gooey. And it was actually Kathleen Martin, when I was talking to her about it. We were in the car taking her to the airport from our event. And she said, oh, yeah, that's real common. We use that to transport and for other things. You don't think you can breathe in it, but you can.
Yeah, I remember that. We were talking about that movie where under the water there was extraterrestrials down there, and they went way down and found him, and they put liquid oxygen into his lungs, and he found out he could breathe. It was liquid oxygen. So at first you feel like you're going to die, but it's just relaxing it. Right. So
Made me think of test tube babies. And there were, I mean, wasn't there a child, basically, that's what they called her, born back in the 60s or 70s? It's an adult now. I can't remember her name.
I think there's probably many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that were test tube babies. And I was
Although
thinking,
they were incubated in an actual womb, I think, not in the actual tube, but they were fertilized in the Petri dish, I guess.
well, I mean, we as humans admire the fact that a woman can give birth, and it's very painful, I'm sure. And but the fact that we can do that, but they don't think that way. They think we're just going to create it in an artificial womb.
They don't need women.
Yeah.
Well, they might be.
They just need DNA.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. As I was listening to her talk about the test tubes, I got a flash in my brain. My brother-in-law, who is now deceased, used to. He was a pot grower. Medicinal marijuana sounds better. And
Isn't it? It's all medicinal.
It's all medicinal. But he did a lot of interbreeding to make different types for different ailments and things like that. So he would have, these different sized plants in different areas because he was creating new plants.
Graphene and everything else. And,
I got a buddy that grows chili peppers in Wales, and he makes his own seeds and makes hybrids and stuff.
Does he have to go inside the wells to get them? No, I'm just kidding.
You're so funny.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
You're talking about Wales, the country, I know.
Well, my first thought was Wales, the little crackers.
Yeah.
Like whales, the little cheese.
I like them better than goldfish, by the way. They taste
too.
better.
I love them.
Well, that was interesting. Now we're going to find out more about her dream next week.
Yep. Awesome. I can't wait.
I know. Now we're going to be on pins and needles waiting for this. For sure. It's going to be interesting. I hope everybody that listens tonight tunes in and calls their friends and says, you got to listen to this. It's what I love most with this show is that this information is getting out. And like you said, Mary, now you've heard from the past few regressions about this gray void. So is this something that is a common thing?
Or something new?
We'll find out.
Well, big thanks to you guys and the audience, and for the woman who's let me share her regression.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to next week as we uncover the rest of it.
Yep.
All right. Have a
Sounds
good night,
great.
everyone.
Well, you guys have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure, and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the voices